1, 2, 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new video. Today, me and Anthony are going to be going over some WWE Would You Rather questions, but we never do these videos alone. We love having people with us. You guys know this has been kind of the year for collaborations for me and Anthony. So with no further ado, out of the wrestling community, meet JonReyes. How we doing today, brother?
What's going on, everybody? Doing really, really good. It's Monday. We got Raw tonight, New York City. The vibes are high. WrestleMania is coming up, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Perfect. And just before we start, for everyone, make sure to check us out mainly on Instagram and TikTok. That will be OverTheTopTalk. All links will be down below. We appreciate you all for the support over the last 2 years. But with no further ado, let's get started with the first Would You Rather question, which is, would you rather get buried in a storyline or have a great push but constantly lose at pay-per-views? And John, I'll start with you.
Oh my gosh. Great build and constantly lose at pay-per-views. Like if you've been like following wrestling like for a long enough time to where Mr. McMahon was in place, like when people got buried back then, like intentionally because of the backstage politics that went on, dude, it's bad. I'll lose at every PLE forever if it means I don't get put through some of the stuff they went through, bro. So yeah, definitely losing at pay-per-views, great build up.
Perfect.
Yeah, I feel the same way, bro. If you get pushed constantly and you're losing at pay-per-views, that just lowers the stock of you so much, and it's painful to see. But I don't know, man. It's a hard option because, like, if you're getting buried in a storyline, like, the best part that I can think of is like Triple H's Reign of Terror in the early 2000s. People were just being fed to him. Fed to him. So like that would be rough. Oh my god. I mean, but like I would probably take my great push just so I can have a little bit of elevation for myself, you know, just a little bit.
Yeah, I think for me as well, I would think I would do the great push but constantly lose, because at least I'm, putting on matches at some sort of pay-per-view. There's some people on the roster that, aren't even getting screen time. So I think if I'm getting that screen time, at least I think I would rather take the losses. Plus I'm getting some sort of push as well. So I will also be taking the have a great push but constantly lose at pay-per-views. But John, we're going right back to you for the next one, which is, would you rather be known for crazy spots but never win a match, or a boring wrestler who wins everything?
Oh, dude, you know what's funny about boring wrestler who wins everything? I don't care what anybody says about this. That was Roman Reigns for so many years, and he turned out all right. So I'm going to go with boring wrestler who wins everything, because I don't know, guys. Like, there's a lot of wrestlers out there across all promotions that can do crazy spots. But, man, I think I'd be lying if I said, hypothetically, if I'm in the industry, I'm trying to get to where one guy is, and that's Roman Reigns. So, yeah, boring wrestler who wins everything, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have pretty thick skin to be a boring wrestler who wins everything, because you get that go away heat. The fans are ruthless. Like, people are getting death threats just for like what they do in the ring, which is crazy. But being known as a crazy spot fest, that could be a short career. That could be like a 5-year career. You can get injured crazily. So honestly, I'm taking the boring wrestler also, and you probably nailed it right on the head right there, with the best example being Roman Reigns. It took him so long to reach that tribal chief character, but he made it, and now he is that guy. So I'll be taking boring wrestler also.
Yeah, and Anthony, like you mentioned, kind of, you can have crazy spots but also get injured, because we're kind of seeing that with good example would be Javon Evans. Like, every match he's like landing on his neck like 3 times a match. So long term, probably not good for your career. I like the Roman Reigns example too for boring wrestler who wins everything. And another one would honestly probably be Gunther for that as well, because a lot of people complain that his matches are boring, but he is winning, or he was like at the top multiple times. So I will also be choosing being a boring wrestler who wins everything, because we've seen a lot of examples of, that being very successful for your career. So I'll be going with boring wrestler who wins everything. But with no further ado, next, John, would you rather be a face in a losing streak storyline or a heel in a winning streak storyline?
I'm gonna go back to back on Roman Reigns examples, bro. Heel and winning streak story, guys. When WrestleMania 40 rolled around, I actively disliked Roman Reigns as a wrestler, as a character. Now it went kind of like this because I hated the big dog, and then I was like, wait a second, this is kind of cool. And then I attended WrestleMania. What is it? The year after COVID, it was in Tampa, and that was when he won the triple threat. And I was like, it's getting ridiculous at this point. Like, he's just the guy. Going into WrestleMania 40, I was like, listen, I hate this guy. But if for whatever reason they go back-to-back WrestleMania years and he wins and defends against Cody again, I'll acknowledge him. Like, I would have no choice at that point. So, bro, heel in a winning streak storyline all day, every day. Yeah, 100%, no question.
Yeah, me too. 100% heel storyline. My example I would use for this would be like 2009 Randy Orton, bro. I would just be punting everybody. I'd be taking everybody out. I would like. I feel like also to be in a heel storyline seems like more fun in my opinion. Like, come on, being a heel, being the bad guy, getting that heat. I think it would just be cool. So 10 out of 10 times I'm taking the heel storyline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I want to disagree, but I can't because I'm just thinking of, being a face in a losing streak, which we kind of see with Sami Zayn all the time, where, he's in these constantly losing battles. Even you can use Jey Uso last year where he couldn't take out Gunther. He was in this face losing streak, but finally won. But like Anthony, you said perfect. I mean, Randy Orton years ago, even today, we're about to see a huge heel winning streak storyline, I think, and being able to just crush opponents every week, not taking losses, being able to win championships as a heel, and also being able to destroy people on the mic as a heel. Even the fans, I think, will be entertaining. So I'll also be taking being a heel in a winning streak storyline.
You could just see Randy's having so much fun right now.
Right?
Yeah.
And moving on, back to you, John. Would you rather tag with Edge and Christian or tag with the Hardy Boys?
Edge and Christian. I'm noticing a lot of my answers have to do with career longevity. Like, I'm just thinking about what's wise here. And Edge and Christian were a little more methodical with their ways of becoming who they eventually became. So Edge and Christian. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, dang, wait, if I could be a Hardy Boy, that's kind of all I need in life too. So, but no, Edge and Christian because I want to live.
Personally, bro, I'm actually taking the Hardy Boys. I know I have like a high risk at like breaking my back or like neck or something, doing a swanton bomb off like a 20-foot ladder. But if I could get anywhere, as high as over as the Hardys, I feel like I won. So I'll take the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, and I'll honestly be taking the Hardy Boys as well, just because Jeff Hardy's one of my favorite, high flyers, and being able to tag with him would be crazy, even though I might, like Anthony, you guys said, might get injured. I think it would be really cool to tag with a guy like Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, and always love watching the Attitude Era, even though me and Anthony couldn't watch the Attitude Era, but watching those clips and like 2008, Jeff Hardy, 2009, I'm easily going to be tagging with the Hardy Boys for this one.
I love it.
And with our next one, we have, would you rather take a spear from Braun Breaker from the bottom of the ramp or take an F5 from Brock Lesnar?
I'm going to be honest. I'll take the spear from Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, I think part of why he's gotten so far so quickly is because, I don't know, people might disagree because of certain things that have happened. I think he's a relatively safe guy to work with. It looks like his art is putting intensity behind things that end up being really safe for you to take as an opponent. So I'll take the spear. F5 doesn't look like he holds back anything. He's like, hey, we're going to make this as awkward of a fall as possible. So yeah, I'll pass on that.
But this one is actually hard for me because, like, I feel like I'm gonna be that one unlucky dude who takes a really stiff spear, or I'm at a position wrong or something like that, and I just get nailed. But you're right, bro. The F5 looks absolutely vicious. They're taking a hit extremely hard. But I feel like I would have to take the F5. I feel like that spear is just scary. It's just terrifying.
Yeah, and I'm gonna look at this from a different, angle, and I'm gonna be taking the spare from Braun Breaker from the bottom of the ramp because, once that happens, you're clipped all over social media, and those, views be racking up anytime you hit someone with a spare, flying spare. And we've seen a million F5s, so if you're looking at it from, do you want to be, get tons of views compared to not as much, I think I'd want to take the spare and, look at my phone and see I'm all over ESPN, WWE, all these different platforms. So I will be taking the spare from Braun Breaker.
It's actually brilliant, man. Like, you're going to get hurt either way. Might as well get some attention for it.
Right. And our next one, would you rather wrestle Shawn Michaels or Seth Rollins in a ladder match?
Love Seth Rollins, but Shawn Michaels all day, every day. If you look back at the highlights of that guy's career, well, first of all, almost every match it's just a highlight. The way the guy moves in the ring, it's the same type. When we admire his body work, it's the same type of admiration that I have for AJ Styles. It's you move in that ring so fluidly, it's like you're watching an artist painting on a canvas. And Seth Rollins obviously is up there on that list, but Shawn Michaels is in an echelon that literally you recognize him as maybe the greatest in-ring performer of all time. So, man, Shawn Michaels. I probably wouldn't even have to know how to wrestle. The guy would just make it a 5-star match by himself. So,
yeah. Personally, on this one here, just for a ladder match, I think I would take Seth Rollins for myself, because of pre-knee injury Seth in ladder matches is kind of insane. He was doing unbelievable things. Would I be subject to take a 450 onto a ladder? Most likely, but it's okay. I'm willing to take that. So I'll take Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and I think I'm. They always compare these two guys, but I think I'm gonna go with Shawn Michaels just because I'm a huge fan of Shawn Michaels. I love Seth Rollins as well, but just watching Shawn Michaels, back in the day, the matches he used to put on, in the Hell in a Cell, The Undertaker, all these different guys, Triple H and him had one of the, best SummerSlam matches. Shawn Michaels is always a part of these, huge matches. So I'll be going with Shawn Michaels here, and I think it would be a great match and great time to honestly learn things from a guy like Shawn Michaels as well. So with no further ado, next up would be win the Money in the Bank briefcase, but fail your cash in or lose in the main event of WrestleMania.
Wow, this one is a violent one.
Lose.
Yeah, but losing in the main event of WrestleMania means I was in the main event of WrestleMania. So, I would rather lose in the main event of WrestleMania. Winning the Money in the Bank briefcase and then failing the cash in. Dude, do you guys remember, were you guys watching back at Raw 1000? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so that was John Cena announcing in advance that he was going to cash in on CM Punk at Raw 1000, and the Big Show ends the match by disqualification.
Yes.
I will that for some reason that's around the time where I started to understand the industry a little bit more and just realized like that broke me, like seriously, for John Cena being the fan that I was back then. So yeah, anyway, no, I'll lose in the main event of Mania.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you here, and like you said, word for word, being in the main event of WrestleMania, you did something right to get there. You must have put on a great story throughout the year. But losing, like not cashing in the Money in the briefcase and losing that is rough. In my eyes, like Austin Theory still has not recovered from this, and especially from that bury he got from Cena also. So main event of WrestleMania, you're still most likely going to be a star moving forward. So I'll take a Mania main event any day.
Yeah, and we're going 3 across the board there because I will also be losing the main event of WrestleMania. Fully agree with you guys. If you're there, means you did something right, and you'll probably be getting some opportunities down the line. And most Money in the Bank briefcases that have failed, I mean, they're not like too memorable, and usually, like you said, Anthony, usually, destroy your career like Austin Theory's a couple years ago. So I think I'd rather lose in the main event of WrestleMania. And With our next one here, we got, would you rather take a 30-second stink face from Rikishi or take Yokozuna's seated drop finisher?
I'll take the seated drop because, yeah, just get it over with. I don't want to sit there for 30 seconds is a literal hour dealing with that, bro. So, yeah, no, I'm good on that one. I'll take Yokozuna. I'll take 3 or 4 if I have to avoid the other option.
You know, I was actually thinking, like, you know, which one here would I rather take? But you're right, bro. 30 seconds in this situation would feel like so long. The only part that kind of was like making me question it was like, what if Yokozuna like doesn't hold on to the rope and you get like squashed,
You're dead,
cooked, or like that one time he pooped. I don't know. But you're right. I feel like I'll take Yokozuna. It's quicker and you get it over with. I don't want the stink face.
Yeah, and once again, 3s across the board because I'd, rather take, Yokozuna's finisher than have to sit there and also kind of like embarrass myself in front of who knows how many people would be in that crowd if you get a stink face for about 30 seconds. So easily would be taking Yokozuna's seated drop finisher for this one. But moving on, we have, would you rather never win a title but have legendary matches or hold titles but have boring matches?
I would rather never win a title but have legendary matches. Because of the word legendary. Like, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. Where are you thinking about a title by the end of that match? Nowhere is a title in your mind. You're thinking of the beauty of this art form. So I'll take legendary matches. Titles matter, they matter, but legendary, I'll take that.
Yeah, me too. I want to be one of those dudes. Like you've heard it so many times, people talking that match between those two don't need a title at all because they get enough star power. One that I was actually thinking about that could happen would be like Roman Reigns versus Obafemi. That does not need a title. That's something that would be huge. I was talking about that earlier today with one of my buddies. So I want to be known as that guy, put on a 5-star match with anybody, no title needed. And like you said, titles have their spot and place, but having a legendary match is, we don't have a lot of those. So being a part of one of those would be incredible.
Yeah, and I'd rather, take the legendary matches over the title as well, just because legendary matches, can get you in the Hall of Fame. You don't need titles to get in the Hall of Fame if you're, putting on great matches year by year by year. And Anthony, I like that Roman Reigns and Obafemi show, but I'm even going to go with the Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar right now. I think that's going to be a, legendary, amazing match, and that obviously doesn't need a title. And you can even argue that most of the feuds we're seeing on this Mania card can be legendary. Even, so obviously there's titles in these matches, but you don't even need them because most of these rivalries are like both people hate each other, like Roman and Punk. Now you have CM Punk and Randy hating each other. So just to get back on track, I would take the legendary matches easily over, having titles. So with no further ado, our next one, which is, would you rather wrestle a 30-minute classic match every week or a 5-minute insane spot fest?
A 5-minute spot fest nowadays. I mean, look, you alluded to it earlier with taking a spear or an F5. It's like, what's going to go more viral? And for better or worse, that's the currency of attention these days, is virality. So you give yourself more tickets in that lottery with a 5-minute spot fest. Not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. You heard? So spot fest it is.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this one's tricky because wrestling a 30-minute classic match every week would be awesome. Like, that would be cool. I don't want to be known as the Dave Meltzer guy who's getting pissed off that my match is a 5-star. But, a 5-minute insane spot fest can seem like a 30-minute match. It can, just if it's the rapid pace going at 1,000,000 miles an hour for the entire time. And like you said, you can hold the fans' attention longer than that, and you can be talked about for weeks and even get into a Hall of Fame spot because they're putting matches in there now. So I think I would take the 5 minute Insane Spot Fest.
Yeah, and I'll be taking the 5 minute Insane Spot Fest as well, just because trying to say something separate, or like if you are to wrestle, these 30-minute classics every week, I mean, how much of this match are people really going to see that are watching at home because of all these commercials we have? So like that really gets split into like maybe 10, 11 minutes. So I don't think it would be worth it for like my health to be doing these 30-minute matches every week. And, the people at the stadiums and arenas can see it, but people at home would only see like, small portions of it. So compared to a 5-minute Insane Spot Fest, which, like you said, John, would get viral clips and be healthier for your body, and you won't get interrupted during it. So easily would be taking the 5-minute Insane Spot Fest here.
Easy.
But moving down the final two, we got starting with, would you rather permanently forget about Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins?
Oh, this is awful. What a cruel question. Would I rather have one of them wiped? Which one would I rather wipe from my memory? Well, I just can't let go of. See, that's the thing. I was going to say I can't let go to WrestleMania 40, but you need Seth for that story.
Yeah.
So I reject this question. I don't know. I guess if I had to pick one, Seth. But I don't even have a reason, just because I'm angry and I feel like he would be as mad as I am.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I got to go with Seth also. Not because I'm literally wearing a Roman Reigns t-shirt as we speak. And, I love Seth. Seth is like in my top 5 favorites of all time. And it's just unfair. Like, it's actually a cruel question. But I do got to pick Seth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and threes across the board once again for getting rid of Seth. Simply explained, I mean, I'm trying to think of the Shield, because if you remove one of these guys, then you just have the two others. So
wait, hold on, you have no betrayal. You get rid of Seth, you got no, but the betrayal doesn't even matter anymore.
No, this question is so screwed, and I don't want anything to do with it because it ruins the entire timeline of wrestling. I reject it, and Seth, I take it back. I'm not forgetting about you. I'm forgetting about this question.
Ooh.
And if you're thinking about Marvel reference, this would be a different multiverse. So if I had to pick one of the two, I'm just going with Seth Rollins. But like you said, John, let's just forget about this question and move on to the final question we got here, which is, would you rather have a promo battle with John Cena or CM Punk?
Can I reject this one too? Either way, you're getting deep fried. You know what? I got to pick John Cena. And I know it would probably be worse. I know he would probably violate me verbally worse than CM Punk would. But I think I would want to experience that. You know what I mean? Like, the guy is a wordsmith. The guy, I mean, everything about, don't get me started. We'll be here for an hour. John Cena, he's the GOAT. And anytime you hear me talk about Cena, I'll talk about why he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT because of that microphone in his hand.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I got to go with Cena. First off, like you said, you're standing across the ring from the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Yeah, I feel like I would be like Austin Theory, and I would get flamed from the neck down. It would be rough. Punk is, he's known as an all-timer too, but whenever you hear somebody talk about John Cena, he's always mentioned of how damn good he is on that mic. So, that's enough to maybe get me over also, selfishly.
True.
So I'm taking Cena.
Yeah, and to, top this off, I will also pick Cena just because we've seen some examples. We've talked about Roman a lot, but he's another one that got, toasted on mic with John, but now look where he's at. He's putting on way better promos than he was back then when he first got toasted. So being in a promo with John, even though you're getting roasted, buried on the mic, it has been, tested that it helps careers. So I think I'd want to be in the ring taking on John Cena in a promo battle. But with no further ado, for everyone listening and watching, let us know if you want a part 2 of this. But John, where can the people listening and watching find you on your social platforms?
Yes, on Instagram at JonReyes Wrestling. That's JonReyes Wrestling, all one word. And there's a link tree in my bio there, so that takes you to my TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch and all that fun stuff. So mainly Instagram is kind of the home base for everything. And I post reels on there about WWE. In the near future, I'll be doing WrestleMania predictions and all that classic stuff.
Perfect. And for everyone watching, I'll find his links, throw them down below. Like I said earlier, make sure to follow us. We're pushing heavy on Instagram and TikTok right now with these clips and rails. You'll see clips from this video itself over on there as well. So links to all that will be down below. Make sure to sub as well. Me and Anthony grind every day like we've been doing for the past 2 years. So with no further ado, we will catch you guys all in the next video. Thank you, everybody, for watching today.
Thank you, guys.
1